So this one is Judge Prometheus presenting Judge Payne, as in Max Payne. So this is as if Max Payne was a judge in the Judge Dredd universe. So this is how it begins. The thing about Payne, it never shows up on time. Doesn't knock politely, doesn't wait for you to catch your breath or finish your drink. It kicks the door in, drags you out by your teeth, and dumps you in the gutter, with just enough light left to remember why you're down there. Name's Payne, Judge Payne. I don't wear a robe, I don't sit behind a bench. Badges for show. The gavel's a loaded hand cannon with its safety off. I used to believe in justice. I used to think the law was enough, that if you enforced it hard enough, hit the scum with a little truth, a little steel, you could clean up the world. But that was 1,000 years ago, and another man's skin before the city bled my wife's name into the pavement, before the bottle became my closest ally, before I traded in my soul for a hollowed-out chest and a trigger finger with arthritis for too many verdicts. From too many verdicts. I took a job in a city that stank of oil and desperation, private sector, corporate security, glorified bodyguard for men with blood-soaked bank accounts and synthetic smiles. They drank their champagne out of crystal and pissed on the poor from 40 stories up. They didn't hire me for good looks. They hired me because I didn't flinch when the bodies dropped, because I could still shoot straight while half drunk and two-thirds dead inside. I was just a mess, but a functional one, and for them that was enough. Sao Paulo was one kind of place where you either drown in sin or you're rich enough to forget it even exists. The favelas burned under the neon lights of luxury high-rises. You could taste the corruption in the air like gunpowder and cheap perfume. They threw me into a city where justice was a punchline and everyone had a price, and the rich, they paid in stacks to keep their guilt buried under dead workers and disappearances no one could investigate. I was supposed to be the wall between them and chaos, but I knew deep down I was just another brick in a prison they built for everybody else. Then came the job that broke what was left of me. A kidnapping, the daughter of a CDO, pretty girl, young, full of life, too good for the world, and that's what killed her. They said it was just another ransom gone wrong, but I knew the truth. The whole thing stank. Internal sabotage, lies layered on lies. Girl was never supposed to live. She was leverage collateral, and I was the distraction. The guilt stuck with me, still does. She died on my watch, and for what? Another corporate chess move? Another merger and a blood ink? Another night where I stared at the ceiling fan listening to ghosts arguing Portuguese and English? I tried to run it from booze, pills, gun smoke. None of it helped. It just blurred the edges, softened the sharpness of memory, but the cuts were still there. You can't drink away bullet holes. I wasn't a good man, but I wasn't always a bad man. Somewhere in the meat grinder of the city, I remembered who I used to be. I remembered what it meant to pull the trigger because you had to, not because it was easy. I went back for the people they buried, the ones no one cared about, the street kids, the housekeepers, the guards that paid with empty promises. I stopped protecting the suits, started hunting them one by one. They called it a vendetta, a breakdown. Maybe they were right. Maybe I lost my mind somewhere between the bar stool and the blast radius, but in the end, I found something better in that piece. I found purpose. Justice isn't pretty, it's not clean, it's not blind. It sees everything and still chooses to act. Judge, jury, and executor. I wore all three hats, but it wasn't about vengeance anymore. It was about balance, about cleaning up just one street corner, even if the city kept rotting. You see, the world doesn't want heroes, it wants handlers. It wants silence. I was too loud, too angry, too broken to be bought, and that made me dangerous. In the end, I left the badge behind, not because I believed in justice, but because I started believing it had to evolve. I became the judgment they never saw coming, a shadow in the system. A reminder that someone out there still remembers the screams, still sees the name etched in the alley, walls and morgue drawers. Judge Payne, that's what they call me now, not because I judge the guilty, but because I carry their pain. And in this world, that's the only justice that's left.